Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whichever one applies to you guys. This is 35mm Life. I'm your host, DJ, with my amazing co-host, Mike.
Hi.
And we're here for more shenanigans.
Look, on video.
Hey.
Hey.
I see me seeing you seeing me.
This is the third time.
This is,
Trying to get the story.
So George came over and helped us set up for like 45 minutes, and everything was fine. And then my camera decided to overheat, but that was because I had a setting off because I don't do much video. I know now. So
both of us are not videographers.
We're not.
If you looked at the title on episode 6,
right.
I'm a photographer. Not a sound engineer. I'm a photographer. I'm not a videographer. Please, I swear.
But we decided to do video. We had talked about doing video before, but we actually, hinting at it during our podcast, we had a lot of people that were like, "Oh, you guys would love to." And granted, a majority of them already know what we look like, so
yeah,
no surprise.
I actually don't think a lot of people know what I look like.
That's probably true.
I don't
he
think
looks
your mom's
amazing.
Ever
See this
seen
guy?
Me in my life.
Me, on the other hand, people have seen me. But if you haven't seen me, just kidding. We're good.
Spooky.
Like, yeah, we figured you could see our faces and all this. But the cool thing is the audio from these mics is going to be put into the regular podcast for what we do.
Correct.
The video is going to go on our YouTube for, just because.
Everything will sync.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing reaction videos. We have a critique lined up with my buddy Paul. He's going to send us a bunch of pictures. Yep. He said that he felt like he was in a rut, and he wanted us to do a very honest critique of his work, see things that he could do to improve. When people come to me for this kind of stuff, it makes me feel really good because, that means that they value your opinion, and that's, for a photographer, that's huge.
I think we tackled that on episode 8 or 9 or 10. I don't know. Now we're losing track. We've done so many episodes.
So
only
we have
10.
We have 10 saved up, and we've released 6. So there's going to be 4 more before you guys see this video. So it's going to be in a month, essentially.
Yes.
So just so everybody's tracking, last weekend was Easter weekend.
Yes.
So you guys kind of put that together timeline wise. So
yeah.
But anyway, welcome to my dining room. This is where we're filming at.
Yeah. I look like I'm mixing a mixtape right now.
He does. Absolutely.
I'm a rap right now.
I'm gonna call you 3-Pac.
3-Pac. Hey yo. What are we gonna talk about today? Because
we have a good.
As the third time around, we've talked about literally everything, and now we're just stuck in a rut.
Well, we can do so. We'll plan for things like what's in my bag. We'll actually have stuff to show you guys, our lenses and things like that.
Yes. I can't show you my gear because I'm using it to record.
That's true. Yeah. I have the R5.
Well, we have some stuff.
I have the R5 right here, just chilling back here behind me.
Speaking of it,
yeah. I do have a question from my mom, actually.
Nice.
She asked about, she asked me to cover monopod and tripod usage.
Yep.
Not the difference between the two. She knew that. So before anybody.
Well, if you don't know the difference between the two, mono equals 1 and tri equals 3. Yeah. So a tripod has 1 leg and a monopod has 3 legs.
Yeah. And then a bipod's for guns. So, right. So they have different stability. A lot of modern tripods, though, have one of the legs that'll come off, and it's now a monopod too, which is great. And if you guys go to a camera store, you guys can go in and check out the tripods. Normally of the 3 legs, the one that has kind of like a rubber or foam piece where you would like hold it, that's the leg that'll remove, and you just twist it.
Right.
So pretty useful, but. Tripods, mostly landscape photographers, nighttime stuff, long exposures, and portraits. If you're doing like a big scene, monopods, wildlife, sports, things like that, hiking.
Yes,
that kind of stuff is.
You're so mobile with a monopod, and you get this full range of motion. So like your arm can swing, literally, if you're going like over the table, you can get a full range of motion. You can kind of do that with a tripod now, just by design, extending one of the legs, but it's still a little bit more fussy. A little bit.
It's not balanced.
A monopod. Monopod.
Well, then the Action Camera has those tripods or monopods, that have tripod legs on them, which are cool because you have full articulation down at the bottom.
Right.
So you're stable at the bottom, but you're able to. Oh, thank you. Like.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley.
What you want to, or whoever, Billy Idol, whoever you guys like.
Yeah. So they do have their specific purposes. I personally would use tripods. Just because of the work I do. Yeah. And if you're doing video, it's a really good way to stabilize video. You can even, I've seen people mount it from the bottom.
Oh,
You can mount it from the bottom and hold it like this.
And hold the legs for like
just kind of walk around. Or you can mount it against your chest. Really good support.
If you don't want to spend like the $1,000 whatever dollars is for the Ronin chest mount.
So really good way to like maximize a tripod. I have one. I didn't bring it today. for a video podcast.
So just so you guys know, this setup, it works. Like, I think it's gonna be good. The video is gonna be good. The audio is gonna be good.
It works,
but it's jank, bro.
It's so sketchy.
Like I have a C stand. I have a light stand. Sorry, a light stand, 2 mini stands, and a tripod holding 2 cameras, 2 lights.
Right.
And there's another light behind me so that it's not boring.
And
this chair that I realized is just kind of hanging out. These are for our special guests.
You can't really see our, like, where our mics are mounted to. They're literally just sitting on our laptops.
They're attached to our laptop right now.
This is kind of janky, but it works.
We'll get it figured out.
It's the first episode, so please forgive us.
And honestly, it is already going better than I thought.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I mean,
but if it wasn't for George,
right, this would be a mess. We wouldn't even be having an episode right now.
No, we would still be trying to set everything up and be like, oh, so next weekend? Yeah, okay.
2 hours in, just like, I give up.
5 years later.
SpongeBob references. We made so many references today. It's kind of ridiculous.
We have.
And then we also, my goodness, we were kind of pretty hungry before.
Yeah.
And we were like, or I was at the gym, and then he was like, I told DJ that I was gonna go get In-N-Out.
He bragged.
You want some In-N-Out?
He bragged. He's like, bro, I'm at the gym. What are you doing?
I do brag.
I was like sitting on the couch being lazy.
I hit that leg day.
You did.
Oh boy.
You're walking
barely
a little,
walking here.
You're walking a little funny, yeah.
But I was like, I'm gonna get some In-N-Out later. I'm gonna guess his order. Like, I was thinking of it in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you want? He's like, 3x3, protein style, animal style fries. I was like, I ordered the same thing. Same boat.
You're like, same. I was like, wow, really? That's what's up.
Yep. So that was nice. It's like,
we
easy order.
We bonded over so many things just from the podcast alone.
Yep. Music.
Yep.
And we'll go on tangents, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Like we always do.
Oh, yeah. It's
going
to happen.
We talked about monopods and tripods, and look, we're talking about food already.
Can't
stay on track.
No. Squirrel moments.
Squirreling. I have told everybody that we've made a term, and it's called squirreling. And it's just like going off track on whatever you talk about. So I don't feel bad about it. I've got a lot of good feedback from it too, from people that message me. One person literally said, "I'm here for the tangents." Like she liked everything else about it, but she's like, "I'm here for the tangents." I mean, we could talk about photography, but we wouldn't make it very far, I don't think. Without the tangents. No, right. Yeah, no, I mean, we have a lot of topics for photography, but I feel like a good break here and there is still going to be good. Because it's called 30 millimeter to life. Yeah. And I mean, we don't talk about 30 millimeter, 35. My gosh, what is a 30 mil? It's a Fuji lens length, actually. Great. 30 mil. So I'm not technically wrong. No, I mean, it's the 30 is technically like, it's almost like it's just over like a 55 millimeter though. So, but it would not be fun to listen to a podcast of us nerding out about photography. Shit. To some people maybe, but I genuinely think like I would love to have like a really good balance. Yeah. Because like we were talking about earlier. Yeah. Because like heads up, spoilers. We're gonna do an episode about video games. We're gonna do an episode about movies. We're gonna do an episode about music. And if you guys are here for the photography, we appreciate you. You're awesome. If you don't want to listen to us talk about video games, don't listen to the episode. There's gonna be implications of photography. Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. It's going to be in there. Anything. Yeah, like movies like, oh, this shot was really cool. Cinematically, like, yeah, really, really cool. Yeah. Guest spots we've got going. We got a lot. We do. Actually, I have a couple friends that are willing to come in. Dope. Shout out to Michael Warner. Is that his last name? Warner. Don't know how to say it. But we ran into each other in a coffee shop for the first time. But I think as photographers, we're very introverted. But you follow his work, right? Yeah, we follow each other on the Instagram. And then I saw him at the coffee shop, and I was like, I think I know that guy. And then he was like, oh, yeah. I hit him up on Instagram. I was like, as photographers, I know we're kind of shy, and we don't really want to talk. This guy's not. But you're not a portrait. I can talk to anybody. Yeah. I love talking to people. I'm trying to break out of that show. But you're doing good. Yeah, though. Michael Warner, super cool. He'd be down to come on. We talked about Bryce before. Yes. Bryce is down to come on. And I know you have a couple guys lined up too. My buddy Patrick is going to be coming on. My buddy Chef Tyler Carnahan is also going to be coming on. Another Cali photographer, Cali Captures, is coming on. If you guys, I'm not sure if any of you guys know about Cali's stuff, but she has made a massive name for herself in the most humble way. Mm-hmm. She's genuinely one of the most nice people I've ever met in my entire life. She's an absolute sweetheart. I'm so stoked to meet her because I follow her work. But I haven't met her in person. She's amazing. So I genuinely think that the episode that she's on will probably be like the most views we have. Yeah. Just her 90% of her
90% of her business is on her skill and her knowledge. Yeah. But that 10% encompasses everything else, if that makes sense. And that 10% is her energy and her rapport with people. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we talked about a few episodes ago, like the rapport that you make with your clients is so important, like, because word of mouth is so strong now, so that's going to be awesome to have her on there.
So stoked for all these guests to be good.
Hans said he was going to come on. He's one of these shoots barrel races and stuff with me. Not with me. We shoot barrel races together sometimes. And I think there's a couple others that I'm not remembering right now. I do have a couple. Carly Ingram. Yeah. I've been friends with her forever. Her parents were some of my first clients that ever bought any of my stuff.
Okay.
And she's going to come in from the standpoint of a model, as that's what she does.
Yeah, and I have a bunch of model friends too that I think if I hit up, they'd probably be willing to come on. Awesome. So yeah, I have one. Her name's Tatum. She just went to a camp for modeling in New York.
Oh, cool.
And I think she just got back. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully I can communicate with her and get her on the pod too. And that's the same coffee shop that me and Michael ran into, and she's like the same model we've shot before. Which
coffee shop is this?
Paren Bakery, Midtown.
I know
it
that
is
place.
So good.
I've never been in there before.
So
drive by all the time. I go to that coffee shop by the Virgil, and I can't remember what it's called. I just
Reno
exactly
Coffee Co.
Is it?
Yeah. The one right across the street?
For the Virgil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the owners of that are the owners of Bucket of Blood in Virginia City.
Don't they have the kombucha bar inside of that place, or did they get rid of that?
So they're trying to buy the space next to them to open up more artist space.
Dope.
Yeah, so they can have like artists and stuff, like people make like koozies or whatever. Really cool. The Virgil, now that we're talking about it, I want to give a shout out to that place real quick. We've done a lot of projects there. One of my favorite videos I ever took actually has you in it.
Oh, the camera little...
yeah. So I can send the video to you if you want to, if you want to put it in the video somewhere. But I helped Canon set up this flying dress shoot, and I helped do like the location find, all kind of stuff, and the contract with them and everything. It was really cool. And Mike was one of the, I think there was like 17 people that showed up. A lot of photographers, amazing models. And I wanted to do this one thing because hearing all the clicking inside that hall was so cool. And I want to do like this really slow like walk by on my phone of everybody. Mike is shooting on his AE1, right? Your program? Yeah. And he's like, so I wanted him to start. So it was going to be like one click and then like, which it came out pretty good. But I think I have the original clip. I was like, okay, and go. And he's pushing the button. He's like, oh. And then he advances it. And he's like, okay, go. And I was like, okay, no, you go. He's like, click. And I was like, click. Yeah. So, but it was hilarious. I love that so much.
I think that was one of our first interactions together too.
I think so, yeah. Because that was before you got robbed.
That was after.
That was after.
Because I was shooting on a little Leica.
That's right.
Leica film. Oh. And then I had to borrow the R5. And then I was shooting on film, which is all scrapped now. I messed up film. We talked about that before.
Oh, the film.
Put your film in the fridge, or keep it in a cold spot.
Next to my heart.
But yeah, first,
just kidding.
We're just a little
salty.
I
gotta remember how to have the spit guard on here too. I'm like,
this is not the. This is how I want you to see me, guys. I'm a little salty.
Well, and unsubscribe. Yeah. So this is gonna be super cool.
Yeah, one of the first interactions that we ever had was at that shoot, and I think too, like, get out in the community if you see little events like this, action camera throws like lessons or little photographer events,
and
go out to those.
Yeah, exactly.
They're really fun to make connections. You meet people from out of state. Some people do come out of state to shoot these things. You meet the actual person hosting the event. She was really cool.
She was cool, yeah.
At least something.
I feel bad. Like if she ever watches this, I feel bad. I don't remember her name, but I took her, 2 of the 3 models, nice Craig and his wife. Huh?
I just heard the stomach and I was like, oh, I need to mention it because I was like, ooh, we just talk about food and shit.
The In and Out. I took him to Mexican restaurant afterwards. We all sat down, and she's an absolute sweetheart.
She's awesome.
I cannot remember her name, and I'll bring. I literally have her contact. I will look her up, and we'll bring it up later.
Yeah.
And,
at least it starts with an E. L.
She's a sweetheart.
I don't remember either.
We'll
figure it out.
I will remember.
Yeah, and we're also. I realized, like, as we're just sitting here, both of us have Frigidaires. We've been twirling this thing.
Yes.
Like,
These are little brass spigots for things.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, fidget spinner. Mine's really warm because I'm just like.
Oh yeah, same. Yeah. I'm like rolling it in my hands, like this is all I'm gonna do the whole podcast.
We're special.
Yeah.
So anyway,
guest. We can do a what's in our bag finally and show you what we shoot with.
Reaction videos.
Super cool.
There's going to be a lot of things.
A lot of fun stuff coming, and I'm stoked.
Just so you guys know, like when you watch these videos, I want the credit to go where it's supposed to. Like, yes, we're using my space, we're using my equipment, except for his camera, but that guy right there is the magic for the videos. Like, he is going to be putting the videos together. He's going to be doing the editing and stuff. I am going to be learning because he knows how to do it. So he's going to teach me how to do it. I always want to learn more stuff, but the magic editor credit to that guy. Okay, so everybody knows Mike is the dude when it comes.
And I haven't done video in forever, so this will be a fun little learning experience again.
Well, it's a good thing you have a nice laptop to do it on.
Heyo, found it. Woohoo! I still need to give that guy a dinner or something because I feel bad if I don't give him anything without knowing the.
That's fair.
Precautions.
Yeah. Oh, the Lens Sweet 16 competition.
Yeah, we will do that too. We have a whole list. We actually we have 20 episodes lined up, which is insane because you can only talk about cameras so much, but what we've come up with, it's incredible. So I'm so excited to see where this takes off to. Whoever's watching, thank you for the tens and tens of viewers, listeners. So we've hit milestones too.
We did, yeah. We just hit 200. We just hit 200 downloads since the first episode, and I'm saying this as episode 6 was released yesterday. So 200 downloads, that is insane. We really appreciate it. And another thing too, on top of that, we have 4 diehard listeners. We have a lot of diehard listeners. I know you guys are out there. I'm not trying to shame anybody at all, but I release the podcast at 6:00 in the morning across all platforms on Mondays. Mm-hmm. Now, every time I wake up, which is usually between 7 or 8, right on there to start my day, I hit Buzzsprout and I click it, and there's 4 downloads. Every time, there's always 4 right away. So there's 4 people that have genuinely subscribed through Apple Podcasts, I believe, and Spotify. So if you guys are one of those, we really, really appreciate you. Yeah. Anybody else that listens, we appreciate. Even if you guys just turn it on and leave it on mute, it helps the numbers.
So stoked.
Or don't want to see my face. I get it.
Or my face.
I get it.
Both kind of.
We appreciate everybody.
We're average looking dudes.
I'm exceedingly decent looking.
Exceedingly decent is the greatest phrase.
Roses.
I can't wait
to guarantee Rose can be like, babe.
Oh yeah. How was your
just like that?
How was your time with her? Because she was here for a week, right?
So I met the kids for the first time.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
We're getting a little personal on episode 10. Look at that.
It takes 10 episodes for me to break. Anybody that knows me, know me for more than a day, I'll tell you anything.
Yeah.
No, it was great. The kids liked me, which is great. All the 4 kids are very, very. They're adorable. They're very smart. But getting to spend time with her again was super cool. We did a very impromptu trip to Roanoke Park.
Nice.
Because that's where I had spent a lot of my time growing up. Showed her where my grandma used to live, and we stayed at a really nice hotel.
Really cool.
Took her to my family's restaurant in California as well. Not technically my family's restaurant anymore. It is. It's kind of weird. My uncle's mom owns it now, and they're lifelong family friends. Yeah. But we all consider he's my Uncle Joel. You know what I mean? So
passed down.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, so it was really cool to see her and spend time with her and stuff. We're planning for a trip to Hawaii in September.
So jealous.
It's gonna be super dope.
Like everybody else that's going to Hawaii, I'm so jealous.
I'm
gonna go.
Right.
Eventually.
And Japan.
But Japan. When we get enough money from this pod to sponsor a trip to Japan, or we get sponsored by
Japan.
Whatever company. Sponsored by Japan. If we get sponsored by Japan to go out to their country, we will do free photos for their country.
I will.
I will shoot your country.
That
sounds so bad.
That does sound bad.
Shoot photos.
We won't shoot pictures. We would never shoot people.
Yes.
Just with cameras.
I'm
not sure why I reached so awkwardly for that.
Because you're on video, you don't know how to act in front of a camera. You know, we're always behind the camera, so
that's true. Yeah, I noticed something actually too. It's funny, and I feel like it translates on video as well. Mm-hmm. So Rose is Mexican. And she met my Uncle Joel's wife, who's also Mexican, and her mother was there as well, from Mexico. and she speaks really good English. Rosa does, and so does she. Yeah. Her mom is mostly Mexican, like mostly Spanish, a little bit of English, and so they're talking, and the mother is looking at me as she's talking because I mentioned I'm trying to learn Spanish, and she's just like, and I'm just like, yeah,
I'm learning.
Muy grande, like, you know, like I'm like super white, yeah. So but they were talking, they were bonding, everything was great. But I noticed something, and I remember seeing it on a video a long time ago. When Rosa is talking in Spanish, she has an entire different tone.
Yes.
Different like pitch and everything. Yep. And so did the other two ladies. And I thought that was really interesting. And I feel like on video it's the same thing too, because I know that I'm very animated normally when I talk. Yeah. And I'm afraid if I become animated on the video, it'll be too much. So then I'm trying to dial it down, but then I'm like, well, no, I'm boring. I'm just not used to being in front of the camera. Balance. Yeah. Right. That's why we're on the other side of the camera usually.
And we tell you what to do, tell you how to smile.
Pose, smile.
Say fart, and they make them laugh.
Yeah. 17%. 17%.
I tried that with something like, oh, what?
Was it awkward? Like,
yeah, it was super. I was like, what? It works, I guess. I don't know.
It works for Thanks, me. DJ. I don't know. You got to really lean into it.
Oh, man. Well, if we're going to talk about like stuff that you've given me too, I won't tell them your Lightroom trick. But that Lightroom trick is what I use all the time for skins.
And it became even easier with the new update.
It's so easy now. It's insane. I love it.
If you guys want to know the trick that he's talking about, reach out to me and I'll let you know.
Yeah. Don't spoil it yet.
No, yeah. Because there's so many things about Lightroom and Photoshop that are just amazing.
Skin retouching stuff is...
it's a pain.
When he showed me it, I was like, oh, whoa. Whole new world. It was insane. It's like, I'm gonna use this all the time.
I remember showing.
I was like, on crack, like, oh, like, so ready to go. Let me go shoot.
Speeds up the whole process. Turn it like Hammy from Over the Head. Yeah, with editing.
It was great. Ask DJ about that editing, the trick, and it'll change your world, and you'll be like, I don't have to follow anybody else.
I make my own rules.
I make my own rules now.
So are you gonna be able to do like overlays for like video too? Like
I can. Okay. I should be able to do all that jazz, but let me get up to speed. Yep. We will get to those overlays, and
it's gonna be awesome. Like
I have little toys. I have this little thing.
It's going great.
Sponsor me. No, I'm just kidding.
What is it?
It's a little ATEM Mini. It's a switcher where we can switch from video. Blackmagic Design.
Of course, Blackmagic. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can switch while we're recording. So I can just do this live and upload it straight, or we can overlay something onto it.
A lot of stuff that's just for editing, right? So like recording on two cameras like this, it still works. You just hit the button. See, I'm learning too as we go. So,
and I can just edit on the fly, and it'll be really easy to just upload straight. If anything, I don't have to I guess I could just color grade at the end and export that video, but that's cool. Really it.
I want to get one of those loop editing decks for photography too.
Yeah,
it seems to make everything so simple. If you guys don't know what that is, very similar to the one that he had right there. Mm-hmm. And there's new models that are coming out from other companies, but you could literally edit any picture you have from this little console with buttons and dials. Yep. You don't need anything else. And eventually you kind of look like you're playing the piano as you're going through with everything, but speeds everything up. It goes really, really fast. So
it'll be nice. I think once we get in the role of doing this, getting more cameras, sponsor us for more cameras. Let's just sponsor us for everything.
You know what it is though? I like that I'm sponsoring us and you're sponsoring us though. Yeah. Because our time into this stuff, it's a learning curve for both of us for sure. And this is just purely for fun. So it's
so insane. Hey, look, used for monopods and tripods. Did we talk about that already?
We did, didn't we?
I think
monopods,
so.
Tripods.
because we've cut so many times. I'm just like,
I know
we
have. Okay, I'll listen to it again, and if we don't, we'll bring it up next time. But my mom asked that question, so
shout out to your mom too for knowing that I was a trumpet player. That's so
big.
Sweet.
It's funny. She messaged me, and I so literally, she was texting me that when we were recording on this last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. Mm-hmm. She was texting me while we were recording. Yeah. And I was like, she's like, don't do that. I was just giving her a hard time. I was like, no, it's fine, really. And she's like, no. I was like, no, it's happening. So you're welcome.
Yep.
Mom gets the shout out.
Plus George, plus everybody else. We did it.
Yeah. So we'll listen to the episode if we didn't talk about it, and I know this seems really unprofessional, and I'm really sorry, guys, but we have stopped recording 3 times so far tonight alone, trying to figure everything out. So forgive us, but it's only going to get better from here.
Remember, we are photographers and not videographers, and we're not audio engineers.
And we're definitely not physicians.
No,
Physicists.
I'm not a physician either.
Or what's the other thing? What's
We're not good with words, remember?
That's true. No, what was Howard Wolowitz on Big Bang Theory? Because everybody else is a physicist. He's come on.
I don't watch Big Bang enough to know this.
Cricket.
I don't know if you're disappointed in me that I don't watch Big Bang.
First of all, you should watch it. It's amazing. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but I'm like an Office fanatic. John Krasinski, hey-yo.
Yeah, but that show's over.
Yeah.
It's also not watchable anymore.
Why?
Took it off Netflix.
Download Peacock. Hello?
I have 7 subscription services.
I know. It's brutal, especially as a photographer.
Right.
Oh my goodness. I have
There should be more photography shows.
There should be. Is there any photography shows? There was one that tried to release, right? It was like...
There's 2 that I can think of.
Was it based off of like iPhone photography or something? Mobile photography?
Was it on Netflix?
I have no idea.
I can think of one show right now that's on Netflix. Tales by Light or Stories by Light. It's all photographers. 2 seasons last time I checked. Really, really good show if you guys want to check it out. Also, if you search for Abstract on Netflix.
Love that, yeah.
The last episode is photography about Platon, and we talked about him before. He's one of my favorite portrait photographers. Movies, though, you have Nightcrawler.
Yep.
Which
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal, right? Gyllenhaal. That movie is really, really cool. Like, really, really cool. Because I've always thought, like, one thing I promised myself is I would never do paparazzi. I won't do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's my... If you do paparazzi, I'm not really trying to talk trash on you or anything, but I just can't do that. You know what I mean? Like
it doesn't sound fun.
No, and you have to. It sucks because sometimes you have to invade somebody's privacy just to make a buck. You know what I mean? I don't like inconveniencing people at all. Period. No matter what, ever. Especially for something like that. So, but again, that's not always like that. Some paparazzis are completely different, and they're great people and all that kind of stuff. I just don't want to be in that category. But the Nightcrawlers are the ones they listen to the police band, all that kind of stuff. Show up first on the scene to take pictures of whatever crime is going on. And that stuff is cool. And I had an interview. George and I actually both had an interview with this nice lady who used to work for the Reno Gazette-Journal a long time. We were shooting film, and she has some of the most memorable photos ever. She showed me. They're amazing. Right. All film, which is obviously much more difficult. Yeah. Right.
And I think that was one of the topics we're going to tackle in the future is like most iconic photos taken.
Yes.
That'll be a fun little episode to talk about.
I have a couple that I in mind. I'm ready for.
And then other movies too. If you want like a thriller horror movie, it's from Robin Williams of all people. It's a movie called 1 Hour Photo.
Oh,
very good.
Yeah,
love that movie.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super strange. Super
good
like
callback there.
Out of left field.
Yeah.
Robin Williams in a serious movie. What is this?
Yeah, that's weird. Well,
yeah.
I think it's funny. We were talking about that too. Like we were talking about before. Jim Carrey doesn't have a whole lot of very serious roles, but 23, very serious role. He played kind of like almost like a schizophrenic style character. Yeah. Did really good. Love it.
Some of their best works comes from the more serious things, anyways.
Sometimes, yeah. It's funny. Adam Driver, Kylo Ren. He was on a roundtable interview. It's on YouTube. I love this show, and I used to watch it all the time. But he's sitting down with Tom Hanks, Don Cheadle. There's a couple other really, really, influential people on there, and they're talking about the different styles. Adam Driver, I believe, is the youngest one on that episode.
He's really young,
and he ex-Marine, a very humble person. Seems very nice. But he specifically said he's like I'm not a comedy person. Like I do serious roles.
Yeah.
Then flash forward to like 2 weeks after that interview, and he's on SNL.
Yeah.
During the undercover boss on the Starship. It's so funny.
He's really funny. He's on a movie called What If with Daniel Radcliffe.
How is that?
Love it.
I haven't seen that one.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Dope.
It's super indie. I'm just so a fan of an indie film. We're gonna have fun
when we do the movie. Episode.
I'm excited for everything that's gonna be coming up.
I know it's gonna be awesome.
And I know this has been just a tangent episode, but getting comfortable on camera.
Yeah, this episode is kind of like it's practice for us. Like we're getting used to everything.
Welcome. So. It's like almost another episode 1.
Yeah.
With Mike instead of Aaron.
And with better audio.
Hey yo.
DJ doesn't screw that up.
I am not an audio engineer.
Thanks, DJ.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff in this episode. What will we tackle today?
Well, I know we've been on a whole bunch of tangents here. I have a joke for you. I should have asked you this before the podcast.
Yeah, you've been telling me jokes this whole night. So
I have. They're really good, and I don't have new ones you haven't heard yet for me to ask you on the podcast. So yeah, we'll have to do that later.
Yeah,
because I want to do We do like a really short one sometime, like 5 minutes, whatever, and like a you laugh, you lose. Like first laugh, lose. Yeah, with like water in the mouth and stuff.
I think we're gonna lose real quick.
Immediately.
Both of us laugh too much.
Just spit all over the laptops. He's really pissed. Actually, that's a good one. Using old glass on new cameras. So that was a recommendation that you had.
I have been on this. There's something about my Instagram algorithm. A lot of pictures that are being posted, blurry photos are really in right now. Anything shaky camera. And I was looking at old glass, like that film look is so in right now, not just on Instagram. I think that aesthetic is going to be long lasting for forever. So putting an old glass on new camera gear, you can still get a really good effect through that new manual lens glass.
Yep.
There's a Helios 44-2
yep.
With the anamorphic. Mm-hmm. So you have really nice circular bokeh in the background. And I've been wanting to experiment with that stuff because having that new old or old on new is a very interesting idea to me.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
And I've never done it before. So like I want to get some old glass to throw on my new body and see what turns out. Yeah. And it's just another way to get out of your creative ruts like we talked about last time. Using that old glass on new camera gear will be one way to kind of get you out of that rut. Because it's also going to be all manual focus mostly with that old glass.
And for your macro photography, your landscapes, even portraits, that's going to be super clutch. Sports, probably not so much.
Yeah.
Wildlife, definitely not so much. But
if you just want to get creative, they're really relatively cheap. You can get, I think the Helios is like $98 on Amazon.
That's not bad.
So,
because I know there's really some very expensive.
There is really expensive
out there, which rightfully so. I mean, it's quality glass, old school stuff. But and for any of you guys that were looking at thinking about jumping ship and going to another brand, you can still do that. And there's pretty much an adapter for everything now. So if you have an old lens that you want to put onto a new camera, totally doable. The only thing, I made this joke all the time to a lot of my clients when I'm teaching in photography. Like they're like, oh well, I have this 70-300 from Canon, like the original, the one that doesn't have any image stabilization, and it's really a terrible lens. Because it doesn't have the IS. When they put IS on it, clutch lens.
Yeah.
But I would say like, oh yeah, you can technically. So somebody bought like a, they had like a 5D Mark IV, and they wanted to throw that on there, like put on a mirrorless camera, whatever. Which you technically you'd have to double adapt it. But anyway, I told them I was like, you can, but that's.
Defeats the purpose.
You're throttling, because you're choking it out in the fact that the camera has all this quality, but the glass at that part is actually dialing it back.
Yeah,
it's kind of like putting a supercharger on a lawnmower.
Right,
still going to do its job, but it's just going to be really bad at it.
Right,
it's
just a very interesting aesthetic look. As a portrait photographer, you try to. There's trends that come and go, and this is the trend that's currently in right now. Is this film, kind of grainy, old school, very vintage look.
Yeah.
That I've just been seeing all around, and I'm like, you can probably get that with anamorphic lenses or some of the older glass. You can get it with the newer stuff, but that's mostly post-production.
Right.
And post-production, you can tell sometimes that it's like not super
It's like overly done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like with, I don't say trends, fads, like things like that. Fads probably a bad word, but trends. I remember when it started going on as like a hack, and you used to take like petroleum jelly and put it on like your lens or whatever. And I get the look you're going for, but surprise, surprise, there's filters out there that do that for you.
Right.
You can also add it as a mask on Photoshop.
Yep.
Or Lightroom. You have to customize it in Lightroom, but in Photoshop you can make that too.
There's ways to do it without ruining your glass.
Right. And that was the thing too, is like a lot of people put the petroleum jelly on there and they would leave it on there. And that jelly it eats the stuff after a while. Like it's not corrosive, but it damages it because certain parts of the lenses aren't really meant to have a lot of things on them. Petroleum jelly will ruin it. Yeah. And then unfortunately, a lot of people go to clean it off, damp washcloth or whatever. A rock is on the rag they don't see about, and they just end up scratching a huge gouge. And there's just so many reasons why it's a cool effect. It is a hack. If you know how to do it, cool. It's
just be careful.
Yeah. Just buy the filter. Yeah. I mean, you pick up a good filter for like $30.
Or learn how to edit.
Or learn it. That's a good one too. Photoshop. Learn how to use Photoshop. Learn how to use Lightroom. Photoshop is very.
I just feel
difficult.
Like there's so many shortcuts now to make your photo look how you want by just filters in general.
Literally limited by your
Gosh,
imagination. That's it.
So many.
Yeah.
And like trying to make your work stand out. Yeah, you don't want to follow the fads. So find your own style and how you want to edit those things. I remember there was a trend. If we're going to talk about like trends that should go away, there was a trend like
Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Oh yeah, we talked about that too. My gosh, did we talk about that? I was in a car with somebody. It was like songs that should never be played at a wedding.
Oh.
That song, terrible. Right now, the kids will go off, and like adults right now are just, oh, this song is so overplayed from like back in 2012.
Right.
But we will go off in like 90s R&B, whatever.
Oh yeah.
So it'll that trend will come back, but leave it in the graveyard for now.
It's
leave it in the dirt.
Like I love like trends and I like watching and whatever, but sometimes things just go too far.
Yeah.
Or they run their course and then it's over. And I know that's where like the whole cringe thing comes from. Like people that like, 70-year-old grandpa that's trying to, do the Dougie or whatever. It's funny and it's cool, but it's
that trend will die.
Pandering.
Yeah.
And we definitely don't want to pander. Like I hope that we have, and so far I know we do, but I hope we have like a listening base that's literally just here just for fun.
Right.
Like I want people to tell me like, oh, by the way, you were wrong about this part. Correct me, and I'll bring it up. I don't care. I'm wrong all the time. I admit it. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I called a monopod a tripod, I think, earlier. If it's in this recording. Don't remember. I can't remember, bro.
As soon as we're done recording this episode, I'm going to go back and be like, oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, we talked about it. But photo trends that I think should stay in the grave is overly teal and orange tones in photos that don't need to be teal and orange.
Oh, like the turquoise and...
Yeah. My gosh. So, that was so overdone in like 2016, I think, or 2017. Mm-hmm. I mean, I did it. But I was like starting out, and that's the thing. And I mean, we do have a top, or what is it? We always tend to follow trends.
Yeah.
It's just how we are as humans. I think we like to follow trends. We will do what's popular. And I mean, if that's what's going to get you some views on Instagram, sure, maybe a little bit, but don't stick to it if it's not what you like.
It's not necessary. I mean, like, try and
set yourself apart, right?
Right, and it's a good way. It's a good way to start building a follower base, I guess. But the thing is if you start doing nothing but trends, and when you start putting out your actual content, people will leave.
Right.
And because they were expecting to see one thing. Right. When I moved from Hawaii to here, my post engagement on Instagram drastically dropped.
Yeah. And
I know it's because a lot of the people that were buying my stuff at the time and all that kind of stuff, it was all Hawaii based and they wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And I moved back to Nevada and I post, and now the algorithm reads that I'm in a different location, panders to the people here. And while they're like, oh, Hawaii looks cool and everything, that they don't want that. They want Horseshoe Bend. They want Yosemite.
Stuff
they
that's
want
here, right?
Exactly. Stuff that's local. And I get that. But I also can't just post specifically for the Hawaii peeps either.
Right.
Because I'm not there anymore, even though
right.
Photo-wise, it was a great place to be.
Yeah.
So the algorithm game is so difficult. It is just so hard. And that's why, that's another reason why I want to start this podcast, because we're not following any trends. The reaction video, that's kind of going to be, but like,
there's a couple things that we will do.
Right.
Because I think they're fun too. It's not just, I don't do them just to be fitting in with the trends. Just, I also like fun. Doing it. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, that's also how trends start too. Like somebody does something that looks kind of cool. Right. Somebody's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then it goes up from there. So,
and with the editing thing, like I've seen people do the film style edit or like really warm tones and, or cool tones, and they'll modify it themselves. Some people have really bright photos. Some people have really dull.
Right.
It's just how you want your stuff to look.
Right.
So it's developing your style. So it's a good place to start. But if you continue to just follow trends and you're not going to get anywhere, I mean, try to branch out.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to, but you need to start to develop your own eye for your own work, so you're not matching with other people. You know.
And off of your topic as well, you're talking about the turquoise and orange and that kind of stuff. One thing that I had to get used to, and it's not that I hated it, it's just it wasn't my style and I had to really get used to it, was wedding pictures with blown out skies.
Oh yeah.
Really, really high highlights, overtones.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with it at all. It looks really cool. It just wasn't my style. Shooting in Hawaii, they wanted to see the blue sky and the blue ocean and stuff like that. But the whole white thing to match the dress and all that kind of stuff, like, you know, to accentuate the ritualistic reason why I wear white dresses, the innocence and all that kind of stuff, the purity. I get it. I do. And it just took me a very long time to get used to it. And the thing with me getting used to it was that as I was editing and I was looking at these pictures, I couldn't tell if I was doing a good job or not.
Right.
Because it was so far off base from what I was used to doing that I looked at it, I'm like, I guess that's good. And then I would have to ask like other people's opinions, and they'd be like, oh, that's really good, or it's not good. Because I am the last person to not ask for help.
Right.
I will always ask. That old stereotype about like getting lost in a city and the wife is always like, you just got to know where you're going, huh? No. Right. I will ask the random person on the street, be like, hey, where's this place, bro?
Right.
And we'll go. Don't care. I will ask for help
all
day.
Which gives me a good idea for like a critique for ourselves too. Like we can put out our work and see what the community thinks. Like,
oh yeah,
we'll put out one of our like worst photos that we've taken and one of our favorite photos and see what you guys think, because our eyes are going to be different than yours. I mean, you can look at our Instagram feeds and we've tagged those in our descriptions. So
and I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, our favorites are not going to be yours. Like you're going to have different favorites from our collections. We might have not even posted it on our Instagram yet, but
I haven't posted the drone shots yet. I need to.
Those are dope.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm super proud of them actually.
And like that's just a different style than what I'm used to because I primarily shoot portraits.
Right.
So you're going to have a different editing style. You might use more teals and oranges, but it fits the style. But don't use it for everything. No. Gosh.
I think you and I we're like a Venn diagram, like with how everything is done.
Yeah.
Personality matching is a big thing, obviously.
Right.
And there was something that we had brought up as a topic too, getting your name out there and making yourself marketable. And we kind of touched on that on another episode, but talking about Cali and how you and I do things, it made me think of that more. I have found so far that a majority of landscape photographers are introverts.
Yeah.
They want to be out in nature, away from people. That's not true for everybody, but for a lot of them it is. Portrait photographers are generally more extroverted because they have to talk to people. I like shooting both, obviously, but there are times where I'm just like, I want to get away from people and I'll go look at a tree for like an hour.
Yeah.
Not even maybe to take a picture, just for an hour. So if you want people, so there's a guy that I used to talk to all the time. His name's Gabe. He's a really good photographer in his own right. But he asked me, he's like, how do I get my stuff out there? How do I get people to see it? I was like, Gabe, you have to talk to people. You have to cold call people sometimes. You have to approach people. You have to talk to them. You have to show them your stuff. And he's like, oh, it makes me nervous. I was like, yeah, but here's the thing. And he never shows anybody his work really. He showed me and a couple other people that he trusted, and his work is good. But I was like, if you don't show people, nobody's going to like hack your computer or steal it and break into it and be like, oh, it's the dope picture. Let's make him famous. Nobody's going to do that. You have to put in the work. Right. You have to. And if you're not going to, then you need to hire somebody to do it for you. You know what I mean? It's the only way. There is no short way around it when it comes to being marketable. You have to be friendly, approachable, and push yourself.
And I think as for me, like I'm a portrait photographer, but I'm not the most outspoken person. The way I reached out to people was through like Instagram. It's so easy
sliding
to
in the DMs.
Yeah, I've been sliding in them DMs. I've been getting in them DMs like a little
nice and deep light.
Matty McConaughey.
And canceled. Yeah, right. All right.
But yeah, it's so easy nowadays to just, if you see somebody that you want to go shoot with, like reach out to them. Then make yourself marketable. Like, I shot with this person. If you're shooting with another like landscape photographer, like take pictures of them or do BTS, and then like you'll get a shout out on their page. He'll get a shout out on your page. Like,
absolutely.
There's a lot of ways for you to market yourself. That's not just even word of mouth. If you're scared to talk to people, like hide behind the screen. For sure. And just like hit them up on Instagram. Like, hey, I like
by the
your
way,
work.
I got this cool picture of you.
Yeah.
And street photography, a lot of people do that.
Right.
Take a cool picture of like a real grainy black and white picture of like an old man sitting on the curb, like smoking a cigarette. Dope. And you show him that picture afterwards. It like the carousel picture that I have. I took the picture and I showed it to him afterwards, and he was like, "That was really cool." these circumstantial things, but you have to set it up, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another thing too is if you guys know anybody that small business, especially entrepreneur or sole proprietor, whatever, if they have a clothing line, buy one of their shirts.
Yep.
Share their stuff sharing stuff on Facebook and sending messages on Instagram, things like that is free. It literally only takes a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You can, if when I post something, I get a lot of people share my stuff and I love them for it. It's amazing because from those shares, I get more clients.
Right.
Literally just by hitting the share button and posting it to your timeline
mm-hmm.
helps somebody. And I know some people, like I've had some people like, oh, can you post this? And it's for, a very random thing. Like on my Instagram pages, they would ask me, oh, can you post this?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with photography. And I'm like, it's my business. That's a little different. Like, but if you, on your personal page, you're trying to support a friend, do it. Buy one of their shirts, buy one of their pictures, help them book, a photo session, whatever, like just help them out the best you can.
Right.
Again, word of mouth, the most powerful thing out there right now.
Yep. And a lot of my friends like, hey, I can't shoot this wedding. But I know a person that can.
Right.
And they'll hit me up and be like, hey, can you shoot this wedding? Like that word of mouth and you getting your name out there is like one of the best ways to promote yourselves. It's like through another person, primarily. That's how that happens.
Right.
Like in my most recent wedding that I shot, it was through word of mouth from a friend. He was like, oh, I know this photographer guy. Hit him up. And then we met and I shot his wedding. And now we're like kind of close. So yeah, it's just connections that you build and starting to get your name out there for sure.
Absolutely. And on the other side of that coin, if somebody gets you a gig, like if another photographer passes you a gig, give them a kickback.
Oh yeah.
Like it's literally like tipping, guys. Like
literally.
I've had people like, oh, I can't do this wedding, can you do it? Sure. And I tell them my rates because I'm not really going off their rates. I give them my rates.
Yep.
And then, if they agree to it, cool, they pay me, and then I give the person a cut. Now there's nothing wrong with, let's say you do a photo session let's say you normally do like a photo session for like $350. Like for me, just a couple and like for an hour, $350, that's my rate. And that's fine with me. If somebody else were to pass me a client, I might charge them $400 instead. Yep. One, because I'm taking a last minute booking and I always have my last minute booking fee is because it's last minute. I have to change my plans to do this, but I would love to. I absolutely don't mind doing it. But in the fine print of the contract that I don't have,
should get a contract.
I have a contract, but I don't have this fine print on there. That extra $50 for the last minute booking is the kickback that I give the photographer that directed them.
Right.
So, help each other out. That's the best thing.
And I think one of the things that we can do as like just the Reno community, I mean, this is going to go to plenty of people that are not in Reno. If you're in the photography community, like help each other out. Like this is not a selfish business.
No.
I mean, we don't want to gatekeep like locations. I mean, sometimes we do because we need that location. Yeah, we share with people we trust, but we're not going to share the whole world. Like,
no,
I need some of it to be like just for photo use when I need it. Mm-hmm. But we don't try to gatekeep information from other photographers. Like,
I'll tell anybody anything.
If I love your work, I'm going to share your work.
100%.
Yeah.
I've had issues with people in the past that they don't. Like they'll ask me to share things and I do, and then I ask them to share something and they say no, and they give me the reason.
Yeah.
And I call them out on it. Like if the reason is substantiated, cool, I get it. But I've had quite a few people, and I'm like, oh hey, do you mind sharing this post or whatever? And they'll give me a very backhanded reason. Mm-hmm. And that's usually from people that I tend to support back, and it bugs me. I get it. Everybody has their own things or whatever, but but seriously, like if you're not gaining anything, you're not going to lose anything.
Right.
Just help out a friend.
It's a community, honestly. Like,
and the photography community is
we're pretty friendly.
Yeah, most of us.
Most of us are very friendly, unless we've made it big time and we got a big head.
Peter Lick.
Yeah. Hey yo, shout out. I'm gonna put his face on this. It's like
we talk so much trash about like Peter Lick and Jared Pullen and stuff, and if they ever listen to this, they'll be like, oh, and they would just destroy us.
I think
their followers would destroy us.
Annie Leibovitz too, and like, ooh, Annie Leibovitz.
But here's the thing about Annie Leibovitz. Out of the three people we just mentioned, right? Annie Leibovitz is the one that terrifies me the most.
Yeah, she's so scary.
Like Jared Pullen goes to the gym. He's a big dude. Peter Lick hikes a lot. He's in shape too. As far as I know, she doesn't go to the gym or anything like that, but she is terrifying. Her resting bitch face is
that RBF is stronger than mine, and
she's earned everything how she is, but nothing could phase that woman. And would just like Peebles elbow me right in the face.
I mean, she could just be like sleeper build and have like.
Oh, dude, that's true.
Pull off that shirt. Bah!
That's
like,
true.
So strong.
That's very terrifying.
But I don't know. Annie Leibovitz, shout out to you, but you're scary. Yeah.
There's a new movie that I would like to see, and I was watching an interview about it. And M. Night Shyamalan was like, "Oh, I'll direct it," and Hans Zimmer was like, "I'll score it." That'd be dope, right?
Yeah.
And then Matthew McConaughey was like, "All right, all right, all right."
Oh, got to throw in a joke in there, huh?
Yay! If you guys didn't get that, it's "I'll write." I
right.
will write instead of "all right," like he always says.
You don't have to explain your
Sometimes
joke,
you do. Sometimes you do.
It makes it less funny though.
What's Mario's overalls made out of?
What?
Denim.
I knew it. I just didn't want to steal your thunder.
I appreciate that.
Because I always like, when I know it, I'm like, I'm going to say it.
See, it's the commitment. If you commit to it, like, you know what I mean?
I could have just said it.
You can't just, you could have. And then I would have table flipped and the podcast would be over.
Regret. Yeah, he's kicking me out of his house. Sorry, guys.
It's over.
It's over.
So anyway,
he's so funny.
I'm funny. Oh, it's as many times as they've heard that on the podcast. Now they can.
Now you can see it on our face.
But I make the face. I'm funny every time. So you made it 51 minutes into the video.
Oh
we
my
appreciate
goodness!
It. Yeah, I didn't realize until I just looked at the timestamp just now.
Wild.
51 minutes.
Hey,
you guys are awesome. Appreciate it. I think
I throw the little shotgun.
I did too.
That's funny.
I think it was good. So all of our podcasts from this point on, unless something happens, is going to be video as well.
For sure.
You guys can watch on both. It's all the same to us. Yeah, it's going to be super awesome. So thanks for sticking out.
I'm stoked for the journey.
Same.
All the fidgeting and funny stuff that's going to happen.
I know.
Dude, this thing is warm. It's not good.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.
Peace
Later.
out.